Good morning. Welcome to Community Voice. I'm your host, Keith Harris. I want to thank everybody for joining us this morning. Good morning, Keon. How are you, sir?
Man, I'm loaded, full of energy. What's happening?
It's Friday. It's Friday. It's Wednesday.
It's always a Friday when I'm around.
Girl, it's always a holiday when you're around.
Well, praise the Lord.
Every day will be like a holiday.
Yes. Sorry, Keith. I was trying to give you
Eyes
grace.
front, mister.
They out front. Right in front. To the left, to the left, to the left.
Oh, good morning.
Yeah,
It's
man.
Wednesday. We're joined in the studio by Miss Bria Grant. And so good morning, everyone. How's everyone doing?
It's a wonderful Wednesday. It's 46 degrees on the 7th of February. 46 degrees, Keith.
Gonna be 50 something tomorrow.
Isn't that something? What's going on? Like
Yeah,
this
that's
balance
strange.
is off.
And I was watching the news report, and this guy who owns, like, he has a snowmobile franchise.
Mhm.
He's getting ready to go out of business
You
because
know,
there
there's
was
no weather.
winter. There's
Yeah.
no winter this winter.
You know, here's the other thing that we don't think about. So when the snow melts, it trickles down the earth. What does that mean, Keith?
I don't know. What do you mean it trickles down the earth?
It goes down the earth. It goes down south. It helps for our rivers, our ponds to minimize drought in the south of the country, southern part of the country, right? We don't think about that. You know, this all goes together like a hand in glove, right? We need all four seasons. I mean, we can enjoy when we're shorted a winter. I'm okay with it. I'm not complaining at all. But the reality of the matter is, what are our crops going to look like?
Well, but actually for us here in the Midwest last year, even though we were drought, it wasn't severe drought.
Mhm.
So the crops pretty much did pretty well last year. I know when I would be out driving and, I'd be up in Washington County, Ozaukee, Waukesha County, drive by the farms, the corn looked like it was at a normal height. So, yeah, but look, this is extreme weather.
Mhm.
It is global warming, and it is also here in the country, we're dealing with El Nino, which is a warm
Yeah.
weather pattern.
Yes.
So you look out in California, LA has gotten their total rainfall for the entire year, like in a week.
Yep.
That's extreme. And with all the concrete and everything that we have laid here, and then you're going to have flooding. We do need the water, LA River, and I know there was issues out there. They were dealing with drought out west. So I guess nature will always correct herself. And in spite of what men will do, nature, she will do what she does. Like to say, water seeks its natural level. I mean, you can dam water for so long, but then after a while, as the great people, as folks down in Louisiana, when they and as I thought the Mississippi River had pretty much had dried up. So this water is going to be great for the river in terms of it's getting back to its normal water table.
Yeah.
So.
We can argue some things, and they make everything political, right? We can argue climate change all we want, but it's evident, right? We have large glaciers breaking off, releasing chemicals and toxins and bacteria and things in the atmosphere that have been solid frozen for thousands of years. We're so hand to mouth. We don't have time to think about what's happening in Antarctica and the Arctic and what's happening with all of these natural disasters. We don't have time to think about that because we have other things to think about, Keith.
I think we should. I'm a little bit more conscious of my carbon footprint. Trying to use less and less plastics. Because it really is right now, it is fossil fuels that is really damaging the climate. But you got the other piece of it, right? I mean, you got people who are dependent upon fossil fuel in order to live. So I'm hoping that we get to the point, when Donald Trump was arguing about water efficient toilets, the whole idea that we should be moving away from gas stoves and moving to electric stoves. And it just, people, I want my gas stove. There is really no difference. And you learn how to adjust the cooking and the heat. But in terms of the environment, like my mom, everything in her house is electric, so that's a little bit different where, we have a furnace that is natural gas and we have a stove that's natural gas. But I think that, if we all did our part, and I think the other thing is politically support candidates who are about saving the planet.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's important.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's this environmental thing, people act like you said, we don't have time, but you're affected by it.
That's right.
Right. I mean, so it's like many folks who grew up here in the 50s and 60s working in those foundries and factories. And man, I mean, the physical damage that it did to those folks long term.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think it's a discussion that we have to have. The problem is that when you start having the discussion, it will veer towards science. And that's where people shut down. They really shut down. So,
yeah. Well, oftentimes we talk about social justice, but environmental justice is equally important for underserved, underrepresented communities of color, vulnerable populations, because of what you share with manufacturing companies and even when we think about Hurricane Katrina, like all of those folks were displaced where it just is unfortunate. We don't get a break, quite honestly. When you are at the bottom of the totem pole of a people, you are just subjected to whatever you get in some ways, right? And who advocates, right? But we do need to vote because that is where our power can grow. And we need to be engaged. But it's such a slippery slope, Keith. And this is what I want to talk about today. Very controversial issue. I don't know if it's something that we should even talk about. It's a little touchy. Keith, everything's touchy here.
Huh? Talking about my mama, then we good.
Anything but anything about your mama, huh?
No. let's hey.
So 2 things.
Why should this Wednesday be different?
I know, right? I know. Why shift it? I mean, that's the reason why I'm here co-hosting with you. We want to be able to bring these conversations that we have at our kitchen table. We want to be able to talk about them together at the kitchen table, right?
All right?
How does policy impact us? How do we balance all of this? Because a candidate I support can be strong in climate control and environmental justice and have no clue how to deal with immigrations. And when I look at what's happening in Chicago, I have to admit, I'm a little nervous. Why?
Yeah.
Because Chicago's really close to Milwaukee, right? It's a hop, skip, and a jump. Hour and a half drive.
These are not Mariolistas. I mean, if I remember the Mariolistas in '80, when Castro opened up all his insane asylums and his prisons and said, y'all go to America. And man, these Cubans got here. Ooh, they tried to burn down the Atlanta penitentiary. That just tells you, oh man, he sent the worst of the worst. But when you look at the people who are coming here who are again, illegally entering the country, these people come here for work. I mean, it is.
Some of it is about being displaced.
Well, and then when you look at America was responsible for the destabilization in El Salvador. They've tried it in Nicaragua. And so when you look at those folks and look at where they're coming from places that are just economically distressed. Haiti. It's amazing anybody still lives in Haiti. I mean, they had the earthquake.
How do they get out?
That's the point. And so what are they doing?
And then if they do get out, Keith, and they say, hey, America's across the street, across the ocean, across the water, we just gonna go over there, right? We have no way, and this is, I don't even know what place I'm coming from outside of just a tax-paying citizen that wants to know who was in the country and want everyone to have a social security number that I can identify them with and want quite honestly, I want to be able to have some entity
Well, let me
have them on record
let me
as an individual in this country.
let me go on record with saying this. Shame on you, the Republican Party in Congress.
Okay.
You get a comprehensive, bipartisan
Okay.
immigration bill,
I agree.
but because Donald Trump doesn't want to give Dems a victory,
Yep.
he then, calls in, and then all his toadies back up and go, well, we didn't get everything. You got more than what you wanted. So you don't want to fix the problem. You want to make a political issue, and then you're making a political issue out of human suffering.
Agree.
And so, no, I'm not down with that. And when people try to make the argument, oh, they come and taking jobs, that's some BS. And look, it ain't light. I thought about when I graduated from college in 1979 and coming back to Milwaukee, we were in the middle of a economic downturn. There were people out looking for work. Okay, work that Americans normally would not do. The reason why I got to the Department of Health and Human Services, here I am. My training class when I started, with the exception of two people either had BAs or higher. We're displacing people for a job that didn't even require a high school diploma, right? That's what happened. Now, that's when people are out looking for work. No disrespect and don't want to be pejorative, but, we got a lot of young brothers out here. They ain't going to look to be doing back-breaking work. Sorry.
What does that mean?
They ain't going looking for back-breaking work.
Is that the only concern we have is essentially about, jobs? What about crime? What about the cost to have an influx of a people? And I struggle.
Are you really worried about undocumented immigrants?
Oh, absolutely,
Are you worried about the Quan?
No.
Because
I know
before this was an issue,
I can probably find somebody that knows Daquan.
Right,
I probably know somebody that knows Daquan. I probably can touch hold of him, and I probably can communicate with him
the
in a
greatest
language
threat
that
to
both
Americans
of us...
are other Americans. That's the greatest threat. When you look at the crime, it's rare that you see, other than that cop getting jumped on in New York, by immigrants, right, going to the aid of one of their fellow immigrants. You're not seeing a whole lot of crime committed by these folks. It is us that's committing the crime. So and then they factor it in. Well, you got the drug cartel. Okay, all right. Drugs been getting in this country since forever.
So you have absolutely no concern about...
I have concern about their suffering, and I don't think that they should be suffering because of Greg Abbott, because of Ron DeSantis, who are trying to make political points and sending people to a place. And then you send them to Chicago knowing that there's no place for them. So those folks were outdoors.
So
come on, man.
I'm not being insensitive, Keith. No, I appreciate that, right? I want to make sure asylum seekers can have the support that they need, but I'm not naive to what our own needs are here in our country, in our state, in our city, in our community, and I can see the writing on the wall, right? That how do you manage 20,000 people being dropped in the city of Milwaukee today? They don't speak the language. They don't have any resources. We don't have resources.
Who dropped them here?
Keith, I'm just saying. I'm just giving a situation.
Right.
I'm giving a practical situation about what we're dealing with across the country, in New York, in Chicago. This is real, right? Where there were buses that were like, okay, planes. People need safety. We want to rock with that. I'm just thinking practical. How do you manage? How would our common council and our mayor, our county executive, our county supervisors, how would we expect them to manage 20,000 people being dropped off at the courthouse today? That's what I'm talking about, right? Silence. It's crickets, because
It's crickets because I'm saying you got to get to why they're here. They didn't get on the bus and drive on a bus from Nicaragua to Chicago. They came in seeking asylum. You had a Republican governor.
That's neither here nor there.
It is here or there.
No.
Because they wouldn't have been in Chicago had Greg Abbott not sent them to Chicago or New York.
We are talking about the after, right? So sometimes we get caught up, and this is why we have to be so mature in our understanding and our thinking and having a conversation about it, right? Allowing us all to be honest with our feelings, to be honest with what we perceive to be happening, right? And I'm just talking about, maybe it's because I'm a mama that I'm like, whoa, what happened? Maybe it's because I'm a business owner, or maybe it's because I work with so many people at the city and in the county that I wouldn't want to put that type of pressure to say, go and manage these 20,000 people that have nowhere to go. We already got 20,000 people here with nowhere to go that was here already, right? Folks in Chicago, no knock, right? Because I people who know me know, if they show up at the door, my first response is going to be like, we got to deal with it. So I'm going to call Keith. Keith, you got an extra bedroom?
No, you're not going to call me.
Look, what here? Oh,
Because Keith was trying to get to the bottom of it. And
hold on,
so you're
Keith,
going to call me?
right.
You're not going to call me. You call me. No, but
I'm
Bria,
gonna call Keith.
but Bria,
Hold on, wait. No, because you
Bria.
wrong. That ain't. This is.
I might be wrong, but Bria, my friend, look, they put folks in a situation where they caused unnecessary suffering. You had people when they put the buoys with the barbed wire out.
Who
Greg Abbott.
Okay.
Greg Abbott.
Okay.
Okay, and this is a policy that's fully supported by Donald Trump. Once again, so what they're doing is you play the newcomers against people who are here. They're not our threat.
At the end of the day,
they're not our threat.
How do we manage it when we went? Okay, so and this is just a scenario. I'm why it's because what happened? People will say, "Oh, them people from Chicago. That's why our crime went up here." And that's what they say, right? They say Milwaukee got a little wave of folks from Chicago during the AFDC. Did I say that right? The TANF programs, right? So that's what people would say, that people migrated. I'm no knocking it. I'm talking about how do we address it. Okay, it's here. They are allocating $9,000 for 6 months of housing. This for migrants. I understand the need, Keith. I am just speaking to this slippery slope. This is an ethical dilemma that we could soon be dealing with here in Milwaukee. Hold on, wait. $9,000 for rental assistance for 6 months, which includes assistance with moving in and a starter kit to furnish the apartment. Nothing wrong with this. Is a noble thing. This is a noble thing to do.
If you detain them in detention centers, it would be the same thing.
All I'm
saying. But what they're saying is because you put them in a situation where they're not in a federal detention center, right? So they got to stay someplace. It'd be inhumane to say, hey, you got to figure it out. And here, look, if Greg Abbott is such a law and order governor, right, then why would, if your theory is correct, that these folks are about crime.
I'm not saying everybody.
No, I'm saying your theory. Talking about Mr. Abbott.
Okay.
If that is true, then why are you sending them to a city that's already struggling with crime? Because you're making a political point, and you're doing it at the expense of people who are coming here for a better life. And I think that we need to call a spade a spade. And
I can have a spade and call it a spade, but how am I getting ready to play it?
I don't know, because I don't play cards.
Every time I talk to you,
I don't play cards. So tell me how to play the spade.
Use the cut if necessary. Don't overplay it.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah, you can't use analogies. You don't know how the game even go.
What, to say the card that you dealt?
Yeah, you need to know how to play. You can call a spade, but I need to know how to play this spade. And this is what we need to learn how to do.
You don't play it too early and get cut up later.
He don't know nothing about that, though.
Books later.
Yeah. This is what happened when you go to Dominican.
You know what? Correction. Can't let that pass. Can't let that pass.
He didn't know how to play it.
That's all black people did at Dominican was play spades.
So what happened to you?
I didn't play spades because I wasn't over there with those Negroes. You listening to Community Report? I was a serious student. You listen to Community Voice. We're going to take a break.
Community Voice with Keith Parris and Rhea Grant on 860 AM and 106.5 FM, Milwaukee.
Well,
Remember what you asked. You working hard?
welcome back to Community Voice. Oh my God, it's Wednesday. Joined in studio by Miss
Hump
Bree.
day.
I think I started the conversation with the wrong conversation. It was too heavy.
Too late.
It
Too late.
They laid it down the
was
show.
too heavy early this
Too
morning.
late to turn back.
How is it too
now.
late early this morning
I
when
believe,
the first show could get real grimy?
Yeah.
It was talking about women's work.
Oh, the good old days. Caller, welcome to the program. I mean, women do their place. Caller, welcome to the program.
Caller, you're on.
Yes, how you doing?
Good morning.
Yes, good morning to you. Let me turn that mess down. Okay, listen. Now you said some good stuff right there, and anybody that's a true American understand the security of this nation. And you made a good point. And before I do this, I got just 1 second. I'd like to tell Keith I've seen him at the debate as the moderator this weekend. And Keith, are you there?
Yeah, he's here. He's listening.
Why you moving like you're getting old, Keith? You moving like a retired basketball player. You putting on weight. Wasn't no enthusiasm. I said, now brother man ain't old at all. He's supposed to be fried, moving around. Are you moving like that? I said, Keith is moving like an injured retired basketball player.
Injured retired basketball player.
You know what, Meeks? You just have a funny way of greeting people.
Well, listen, because he ain't that old to be acting that old.
You don't know how old he is.
Felt old that
Well,
morning.
I ain't got an idea.
I felt old that morning.
Huh?
I felt old that morning.
Keith did do a wonderful job moderating.
Oh, he did a good job. He could have put more fire into it, though. You know.
No.
You know what? This is not a time to critique his good
No,
morning.
that's fine.
Okay, you're right. You're right, because that's not why I called in. I'm sorry. I apologize.
I'm a
He-
public.
My thing
take
was
that
about these
apology.
immigrants. You're right, and I'm sorry.
My job was not to be emotional. My job was just to ask the questions and then let the candidates answer. And so I need to be objective. So that's what I was trying to be.
Yeah, but like in that movie, what you call that movie? J.D. Walker. When my man said, "Yeah, but you got to put a little fire in it. You got to put a little fire in it."
Man, you go back to JD's Revenge.
Go ahead, Meeks. What your call
Okay,
was?
right. Okay, listen. This is why I called about
Which
this
was better,
illegal-
Bones or JD's
That's my
Revenge?
Ebonics kicked in. You
no,
know, when you get short, you be like, all right now.
Right. Okay. Check this here out. You're right. So check it out. The illegal immigrants, if they dropped off some immigrants, and you or just don't even drop them off, and you go to your house and they barbecuing in your backyard, and they got your TV on, and one in there taking a shower in your house, what are you gonna do?
Was that a rhetorical question?
Not so much. Not so much. It's a direct question, and me asking, what would you do?
Probably have to have a conversation with my wife. Want to know why she let him up in the house and why they back there cooking on my grill.
You know why? Because they needed some place to stay, Keith. They needed somewhere to stay. And guess what? Unlike you, Rhonda's heart is a little more open. And so
and
maybe
here's
she's
something
like,
else.
you know
We
what?
already know what Keith's gonna do. He's gonna go call them police.
Yeah.
And get them police to get them people out of his house. And he gonna press charges. And he gonna go around and make sure they didn't steal none of his jewelry and his little safe and his little pistols and make sure everything is still there.
Keith done dug you out, didn't he?
I'm just trying to figure out how he know what's in my crib.
I don't know.
That's what I'm trying to figure out.
It was a
How
blue-
you give me
it was
a
a blue-
list of what's in my house?
Hey, it was a blues song that said it must be open house at my house, baby.
Hey, but check it out. Hold on.
Got his
Here's
hand
one
in my
more
Super
thing.
Bowl.
Hey, Keith, you said that these people are not committing crimes. They broke in Macy's last week. First of all, they vandalized it. They got they got 2 of them, put them in jail. Then later that night, 5 of them come in there. Look, man, these immigrants steal. And if you look at them, it takes 9,020. How many hours it take to walk from Nicaragua?
From where?
Yeah, 930 some hours to walk from Nicaragua to America. And guess what? They spend all of that time outside in the atmosphere, outdoors. And if you look at them, their hair dyed. Where they get money at for dyed hair and tight pants? And when they do get here, they don't need nothing, Bree, but one thing. They don't need to have nothing but the language. And when they get here, it's something for them to do right away because they got the language. The language is all they need. And whatever language populate the land will dominate that region. You can believe that. All you got to do is throw in the language, and pretty soon that language will dominate this region. You see, every time you call somewhere, they got Spanish and American. And guess what? We don't hear French. We don't hear African. Because these people are staking their flag in this land. And me and you are already now in numbers, the minority in numbers. It's 60,000 of them that's been counted. It's about 60 million of them that have been counted, and about 42 million of us that have been counted. And we are on the decline. And one thing about it, like I've been preaching, once they get their feet in Congress and in the Senate real good, they're going to put their feet on the black man's throat to show the loyalty to the white man. But their ultimate goal is to put their feet on his throat too. And he's smart enough to know that. But we keep on saying, come on, let's bring them on in. Let's bring them on in. And guess what? We're going to be kicked right on out. So Keith, it was good seeing you, man. I think you did a good job. And Bree, it was nice seeing you. I hadn't seen you in a year or two. So you guys take it easy.
Thank you. And let me be clear, because I love everybody, and I feel like it's important that everyone has the support that they need wherever they are, right? Wherever they are. But we have to be honest when we're responsible for managing a space. We got to be honest with ourselves about how we're going to handle it if it gets beyond our ability to manage it, when it reaches and stretches beyond its capacity. So say it's like, oh, you know what? We need to negotiate with our sister city, Milwaukee, on helping us to place some people in Milwaukee. Can we call Keith? We can't call Keith. And there's a whole bunch of other people that ain't going to accept the phone call to let people stay there either. Although they will say, go and make it right, alderman, alderwoman. Go and make it right, mayor. Go and make it right, common council, county supervisors, county executives. We're going to put that pressure on our electeds, but we don't want to process what we need to do to support them in that. We're just going to hand it over, Keith, just like you said. I'm not letting them stay in my house. Y'all better go figure it out. But you're not going to say, oh no, that we don't have the resources to accommodate that. You won't put yourself in a position to say we can't accommodate housing for another population because you don't want to be the bad guy. You don't want to sound like the a-hole that doesn't want to allow people who are in need to come into your space. This is not you, but people, right? Who say, no, not in my backyard, not here. Don't bring them here. Don't give them our resources.
Well, you've made an incredible argument. So what would your suggestion be? What should we do with them?
Keith, I mean, the solution sounds a little insensitive.
Okay, let's hear it.
We got to figure out how it works in their country.
It's not working in their country. That's why they're here.
It ain't working.
Okay.
So hold on, wait. So how do we address this?
Change U.S. policy as it relates to what's going on in those countries.
Okay, and
because America has been destabilizing.
So America needs to come out of those countries and mind their business.
They got an economic interest.
So how do we address it? How do we address? And this is a heavy lift. This is the trickling down of dysfunction. That's what it is. We're not going to turn this Titanic. This is what it is. The floodgates are open. When they first started bringing people, I understand the dynamics. I understand the dynamics. I'm just thinking about what it is. Now, I am a responsible citizen that has to deal with this. They have to respond to, if I was a resident in Chicago, they are protesting The Black community in Chicago are protesting these incentives, the support. That it's disenfranchising what they feel like the people that are there already. Now I have to be in this position because it's trickled down to the bottom, all the dysfunction, to be the bad guy to say, I'm sorry, babe, we can't house you. I'm sorry, 5,000 people that want safety. We don't have a place for you.
We would had they passed the comprehensive immigration
But
law.
it doesn't.
They don't want to fix the problem, Bria.
But it's
they
not.
want to run on it as a political issue.
This is what we don't know how to do. We don't know how to deal with flipping reality. It doesn't matter that
That is the reality.
The reality is that it doesn't exist.
What
The
doesn't
policy
exist?
didn't pass, so we don't have
So
those
then the
measures in
thing,
place.
but the thing
And
that
the
you're
issue
complaining
is
about
still-
would be addressed.
No.
It would be addressed
It
if
would
you would have
be,
passed the
But
bill.
it can't because the bill didn't pass. So
And
the issue's still here.
And why didn't the bill pass?
You know what? Because it's a commodity. Like you just said, they have an economic interest in that country. It's like doing business with the dope man and his gangster fool niece or nephew needs some place to go, and you like, I really don't. Hey, but he got to come. And what about us that's already been over here where y'all has been? So we ain't worried about you.
We don't even care about y'all no
We'll
more.
push you out. You built the country.
Okay.
But
We don't even care about you all no more.
They never care.
We're not even
But
going to
they never
make good
care.
on your 40 acres on a mule to your great-great-great-granddaddy. But we're going to go and find some money for new people.
But like Polly said, they never care. They don't like you in the first place. They lied to you. Just like making you think that you're part of a system that they created to give themselves power. You mean to tell me I'm going to give you, it's a democracy, but it's not. It's a democracy, but if I don't want you 5 candidates to run who did the same due diligence as this one, I'm going to block you from the debates. It's never been. It's a false narrative. It's what is that, a velvet glove? It's real soft and touchy, but I got a knife in the other hand.
We got more pressing issues in this country. No disrespect. We have more pressing issues than undocumented immigrants coming across the border, because in some ways America benefits from them.
But it depends
because
on
they're
who
going
you
to
are.
do migrant
That's
work.
more-
What
that's
part of
more-
America?
That's more pressing to maybe you, but that's not more pressing than my people. Remember, the poor is the largest population. That's why they separated by race. So when you start moving the poor around and bringing somebody else because they was poor over there and making them filthy rich and empowered over here, then it depends on who are you. Who is we? We ain't us.
Well, I think that first of all, and this might be controversial, America really can't absorb currently the people that are here now. We can deal with that. But what we're not having is the discussion about if people are really concerned. I'm talking about the people who have the power to change the situation. If they're not working to change it, why am I tripping? Because obviously to them,
you
it
living
ain't.
in it. Hold on,
I'm not living in it.
no.
I'm not living in it.
Oh, you're right. You're not.
I'm not.
You're right.
You're not.
You're
It's
right.
like voting
You're
don't
not.
matter to some people.
Oh, I am.
No, you're not. You're not in Chicago. You're not in LA. You're not in New York. And even if you were in Chicago and LA, they're in isolated parts of the city that maybe most people don't even travel to.
I think I think this is a bigger issue. This is an example of a larger issue, right? A larger issue that at the end of the day, when they decide I don't want to make the right decision, we have to, on the ground, the people living in the community, the people that get dumped on, have to deal with the issue. When policy doesn't want to address it, the people on the ground don't have a choice but to figure out how to make it work. And so this is where the disconnect happens for intelligent voters. Mercy, Lord. Let's say what my grandma would say, you're too smart for your own
You
good.
got intelligent voters.
We have intelligent voters.
Then you got survivors that don't care to vote. They gonna make it happen in the neighborhood where they living with them folks. I'm gonna get mine because they giving them theirs. So once again, it affects people differently. Some people don't care about the policies because either way, I'm screwed.
Shelter and food.
And here's the thing. This is kind of like saying, oh, that's 53206. It ain't gonna cross over to 53212. What? They right got they go next door to each other.
It's not.
How do you feel like the issue will be bound by an invisible zip code line or an invisible city line or an invisible?
It's called a red line. It is not, because 53212 has been changed, and 53206 is what's keeping them from taking over going west. That's the reality. Our land stops at King Drive and it stops at North Avenue. They done regentrified everything else. They done took over Lindsay Heights. You know, they can't get over here, and then they come and they trying to get to the northwest. So there is a line there if you pay attention to.
All right, let's get the callers. Keith, don't beat me up. I just want to talk about something that
ain't Harambe doing fine?
Harambe is doing better.
Guess what? They said, remember when the Red Cross said, we're not going to 53206 anymore. How? And 53212 is across the street. So that's why
Harambe's in 12.
It is. That's what I'm saying. She said it's an invisible line. It's not. It's real. It's called King Drive. And then it's called North Avenue. That's where it stops.
And for us,
everything else is
frankly,
Sherwood, River West.
Yeah.
You know.
Hey, I got some people on Facebook Live, and we'll take some callers, but this just read a couple. So we recognize that the bill didn't pass because of, Trump. It is what it is. When you know what you're dealing with, you have to figure out how to navigate around things, how you deal with things when people don't do the right thing. Andre Lee Ellis said the dysfunction is something most people won't acknowledge. How are you going to house them? And America cannot house us. Poverty makes money, and the first to suffer has always been the black man. I have to teach little black boys how to survive in poverty. For the most part, there are no expectations that exceptions that rise above. We got to lift the voice, and this is true. I would have nothing to say if every 18-year-old that became an adult, every foster child that aged out of foster care walked out with a stipend of almost $10,000 and a furnished apartment. Give it to them. I don't have if that was our standard for supporting people, well, hey, let's make it happen. Right? And we can afford it. So don't hold on real quick, Keon, because I don't believe that we shouldn't do it. I just don't believe we should be tapping into people that are benefiting from the war, people that are benefiting economically. They should fund this effort.
Yeah, that's how it should be. But I got to make a correction to Brother Andre. It ain't that they can't house us; it's that they don't want to. They're housing them. See, that's what we keep saying. We're the old has-beens. You done built it, and now you're rising up too much. We got to push back.
This kind of gets back to the question:
capitalism and economic interest.
Something that you said. Then who is we?
Who is we? Yeah,
now, when they say that we not being housed, who is the we that's not being housed?
Yeah,
those that they don't want to house.
Well, what do they look like?
They look like a certain economic demographic.
They look like people re-entering into the community after they didn't serve their time.
Now, we're not talking about returning citizens. I'm saying
no. You say who the we? Who's the we that they won't house? The we that we won't be housed, or the people that won't house us?
No, the we who's not being housed.
So I just gave an example. We have a huge homeless population for black men.
Examples.
Yes, that's an issue.
3.
It's a huge issue with returning citizens being able to find stable housing. They don't get a stipend. They didn't work now.
Because they're commodities.
This is slippery slope for me because I believe in labor from in corrections. I believe that's a great model that we need to stick to. I also believe
now some folks is mad at you. They just
they can be. This is life.
No. I'm just saying they just put you in the category with those who you talking about.
No, because I also believe that we should be training folks that are incarcerated in war tactics. So
I said it's you.
Yeah.
Can I sound like
but my main point was saying that when people do their time, they are dropped off. They don't get a pot to piss in and a window to throw it out of. They don't get $9,000. They don't get a furnished apartment.
Should they?
Anything.
Should they?
I mean, they served their time.
They've served their time. But then if and can I sound like someone from the WOW right now?
Okay.
Waukesha, Ozaki, Washington.
Yes.
They committed a crime.
Okay.
And now I'm going to take care of them when they get out of prison. I'm just asking for those folks in the WOW who drives a lot of the policy.
Well, we don't know what some people did when they come here. They may have killed 50,000 people. They might be a part, and I don't want to go this extreme because I'm not that individual that believes like, oh, we're letting a whole bunch of terrorists. I don't believe that, but it's a couple coming in. I'm not going to be naive to say.
I'm going to ask you the question again, Bria. Who are you really scared of? Honestly.
People I can't manage. That's who I'm scared
Oh,
of.
you are really, really smart.
Was that a smart answer? Was that a good
that's
answer?
my Aunt Matilda. You say you just a smart. You just a smart. Okay, yeah, but it didn't answer the question.
That's what you said. Who am I scared of? People I can't manage, and people that can't be managed.
If you did a
That's a
demographic,
scary
if you did a
thing.
demographic to put together your safety plan, going out at night, who are you looking at?
So that's who people in power are
Keith.
scared of too.
Illegal immigrants?
Abso-flipping-lutely. What the heck you mean?
What?
Who are you? Where you come from? I can't even understand what you're saying. Yes, I am, Keith. And you're gonna think I'm gonna say this.
It's Black History, but I can't even use the word.
Yes, I
But the
am.
Negro you can understand is more
Hold
likely
on.
to be the person that
I can read.
the
and
white
a
person
little-
that
I
you can
read.
understand is probably going to be the person that's going to
Look,
victimize
I
you.
don't know. I can understand them a little better. I can understand them a little
You
better.
still get victimized.
Hold on. You're assuming that person is going to victimize
It was
me.
like Rhonda
Yeah.
was going out to ride her bike one night. So she put on this reflective gear, the reflective gear. Oh man, I mean, it was neon lights, I said, so they can see what they're hitting. You're still gonna get in.
Keith, you are such a pessimist. Let's take some of these calls. Oh, we got to go to a break. Oh, Lord, Keith.
I'm still trying to figure out who we is. You're listening to Community Voice. We're gonna take a break. We'll be right back.
that's got an ego. I don't like to hold a conversation with somebody who doesn't know where he wants to go. No, give me the simple life full of fun and joy. I'm just a simple girl who lives life to enjoy. Oh, groovy people, I like to be around groovy people, yeah. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah. Boom, 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 boom. I don't like nobody, no, that's got an attitude. Walking around with their nose in the air. Them kind of people I just can't use. No, I like the simple life full of fun and joy. A little soft music and a big old country boy. Yeah, groovy people. I like to be around groovy people. Talking about groovy people.
Now, back to Community Voice with Keith Parris and Bria Grant on 860 AM and 106.5 FM, Milwaukee.
Let's pretend that we're not at home when they come knocking on the door. Knocking on the door. I don't like nosy people.
All right, welcome back. We were having a conversation, and so at Big Mama's house, who did Barack Obama replace on the wall with Lincoln, Kennedy, Martin Luther King?
No, it was some of them were Jesus.
Oh, and Jesus.
Keep Jesus.
Jesus.
No,
I never seen Lincoln and Jesus
So
together.
who did Barack
It was
Obama
Jesus.
replace on Big Mama's
It
wall?
was Jesus.
he was
King
just
and
added.
Kennedy.
He was just
No,
added.
she ain't got no more room. She only put 3 up
Yeah,
there.
it's either. I've never
Somebody
seen
gotta
the one
go.
with
Somebody gotta go.
They
So
moved
Who's it gonna be?
this
Is
is
it
Jesus
is it
Obama.
Jesus, Kennedy,
or King.
Lincoln, King,
No, it's Jesus King and Obama.
Jesus, King, and
Yeah,
Obama?
I've never seen Lincoln on one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's people.
I've never.
This is
all
back
the way
in the day.
South.
Back in the day, yeah.
back in the day.
Yeah. no.
Okay.
So
All
they-
right, we'll take these callers, Keith, rather.
Right.
Caller, welcome to the program.
Good morning. I hear, y'all having this conversation. I heard something about being afraid of people that you can't manage. Well, let's get down and dirty. White man will tell you to your face, he'll kill you and your whole family. Show ain't gonna manage him. Let the truth be told. And then I heard somebody
Called the
talk
mafia.
about, and then I hear people talk about the migrants are thieves. I guess people forgot about all the snatch and grab in the malls of the people that look like us. I guess people forgot that a lot of these stores that's closed in our neighborhood so Big Mama can't get her prescription is because people want to go in there and steal it. Those are no migrants, okay? Also, we talk about migrants in our neighborhood, and I have in my neighborhood, and I have yet had to clean up after them of a box of chicken bones in Milwaukee best pan that's taller than a light pole. And then I hear people get about resources. They're not giving you no resources. Your only resources is gonna come from your people. And I don't understand why people keep looking for resources. We are more than welfare, which was not created for us. We're more than low-income housing, which keep people grouped from moving to different places. We're more than rent assistance and energy assistance. We got to think on a higher level. But if we really want to get upset about the migrants, the reason why people mad at the migrants because they came to the United States beating up on people because they ain't down with that Dr. King holding your head high while getting nibbled on like a pork ring by a German Shepherd. They came over here, beat, and they still got their respect.
Okay,
Black
can I
people
ask a
are grown
question?
differently.
Can I ask a question? Because I believe you're really intelligent, Al. So if there was, what would you propose? What would you propose to your elected, your mayor, your county supervisor, your county executive, if 20,000 people were being relocated to Milwaukee, and they were offering $10,000 to $10,000 of our new surplus, right? We have a nice amount of money that's coming into our city now as a result of our 2% tax increase. What would you suggest to your mayor and your county executive on how to address the influx of 20,000 people being placed in a community? And let me share again. I want to help people. I just want to be practical on how we get it done. So give us an example of
Well-
what you would do or what you
Well,
would suggest.
Okay, well, first of all, the mayor's not doing anything. I already called his office. He's not making no statements in reference to black people. He's not even for black people, number one.
Well-
Number two, this came from the horse's mouth, and the horse's mouth does not lie. A horse is a horse.
Wait, though,
It came
Al. I don't
straight
think
from
the
his
mayor
mouth.
said he didn't like black people. Like
No, I work with him. He's indoctrinated. He don't like nothing dark. And I can go even deeper in secrets, but I'm gonna hold that to another thing.
Okay.
He's not helping no black people. He's indoctrinated. I called his office personally. He's not doing nothing for black people. That came from the horse's mouth. And when the horse talks, the horse talks.
Okay.
What I would say, take the money that you're giving to all these suburban communities, because they're not giving black people money anyway. And the only thing they're giving black people is low-income housing and the low income. That's the only thing black people are supposed to be proud of. Take that money you're giving to all these places that's helping the white folks and give it to the migrants.
So that's your suggestion.
I wouldn't have a problem with them coming in my neighborhood, because first of all, they're not doing it in our neighborhoods anyway. The building inspector knows about the slumlords, the crime. So if they come over there and they're going to fix the house up, if they're going to pay the rent, if they're going to pay the mortgage, why not? I have in my neighborhood, they cleaning out their garbage cans. They just 3-4 families in the house paying the mortgage. They create their own jobs.
So I just want to
don't
go
have a
back to the
problem with
question. You would suggest that the mayor, the county executive, extract dollars from, well, the city can't do anything about suburban communities, but the county executive, you would suggest that he take dollars from where you feel like are being directed to suburban communities and then use those dollars. Because this is like, in theory, I don't know that that's something that's actually an option to take.
Well,
right?
I know when a woman got hit by a Subaru or electric vehicle, Cavalier Johnson said we got to do something about the east side and put up all these barriers to make sure everybody be safe. So act like these migrants is another person who got hit by a Subaru and make them be safe. Because you know and I know it's about the skin color and hair. Because if you black, get back.
I think that's when Mama Glorioso got hit.
Thank you so much.
And that's the bottom line. Don't forget what he said. Came from a family of single mama who always got evicted, and every single mama didn't get evicted. I don't know about his mama, but everybody who lives in the inner city ain't always getting evicted.
Well, I appreciate it.
Thank you, caller. Caller, welcome to the program.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. How you doing?
I'm all right. How you?
All right. To all the people that's on your thing, I'm gonna hit this real quick. We as black people, black men, have always served in the war. We have always served in the wars, no matter what type of wars we have had. As this country, this is the best country out here, man. I don't know, nobody can go nowhere. This is the best country as being black. I'm born and raised. We would never, ever turn against our country. We would, if somebody said, hey, look, not an Arab, that's like saying nigga. Arabian dude said, hey, look, we finna blow up, woo, 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 he with Hamas. We would go out and tell the police. We would get that straight. So we are down for our country. Is our country down for us? Now, y'all don't care about the migrant situation. It's illegals, okay? Let's get that straight. It's illegals, okay?
Well, they're not illegal if they are
Hold on.
brought.
Hold on, let me speak, because I ain't got time. Everybody them. Everybody want to feed them. What about the people that's out here in the streets that's been out here? We got homeless, baby, that's been out here. And y'all looking at that like, oh, well, push them to the side. Let them people come and we go. I'm down in Chicago. I go to Chicago every day. I'm a trucker. I go to Chicago every day. I talk to them people. They come up to me, hey, man, are they hiring? I say, yeah, go inside. I don't tell them don't get no job. I say, yeah, go inside. I don't stop no man from making no money. If you want to work, go inside, bro. They hiring. My man say, hey, man, my brother just finished up his apartment building. He got like 18 units. Guess who's staying there? I'm like, who? He said, man, them people, the migrants. He's like, guess how much money my brother-in-law getting? I shouldn't say this. On each thing. I say, how much? He say, 5,000. I say, damn, homie got 18 apartments. That's 60 G's. I'm like, okay, bro, go ahead. He was like, and guess what's happening? I said, what? He said, man, the migrants, man, they get $1,000 a month for food. Now, if I'm a migrant, it's me, my wife, and my 2 sons. They grown. That's 1, 2, 3, 4,000 a month for food. And it's only 4 of us. Do you know what we could do with that money? Do you know what we... But then the government says we don't have no money for black people. I agree on this. On one thing I agree on, that I admire them white folks. They know how to make money. I agree on that. We as black folks, we to start making money, just like them. Our schools don't make no money. The white schools, I'm gonna tell you how they make money. Them ladies in the kitchens, they make cookies and cakes, and they hand out pops and sodas. They ain't doing that for them black high schools. You know how much money you can make a year? Just, man, you can have your football team or basketball team or baseball team or swimming, or not even that. Just kids going to school. You can. It's a lot of money to be made, and we sitting up here depending on them. They ain't giving us nothing. We got to go out and get it for ourselves, man. I do agree on that. When you go to an Italian restaurant, who you see working there? Italian. When you go to a Japanese restaurant, who you see working? Japanese. When you go to a Mexican restaurant, who you see working? Mexican. We need to have our own.
If you go to a black restaurant, who's working? Black people.
Hey, brother. Ooh, but we don't try to. You laugh. I don't play, bro. But we don't try to save anything. Y'all act like them migrants ain't doing no crime, bruh. My man said, hey, man, my brother police. He said, I thought he was lying. He said, they ain't gonna do nothing to them migrants. They tell them, man, don't do nothing. Until I seen them dudes whoop them dudes in New York. Now, here's this. This is what I got to say. I love them migrants. You know why? Don't let, remember I said this. Don't let them get a whole neighborhood. Y'all don't even know them people. Don't let them get a whole neighborhood where they live side by side blocks and blocks. Man, they gonna show the men how to be men. What happened to George Floyd with that man kneeling on his neck? If I couldn't be there, because I got in trouble with the police, I'm gonna kick dude in his face. Dude peeing on himself, and y'all as Americans holding pictures. You see the police whooping somebody, you walk. I love them people. Let them people get blocks and blocks and blocks. I bet you the police won't come on their block and start whooping their ass. That's all I got to say.
Thank you.
Just a couple of things. This is Black History Month. And Isabel Wilkerson wrote the book, Warmth of Another Sun, talking about the Great Black Migration from the South to the North. And when Black people were moving from the South to the North, there were people in those communities who were saying they're coming to take your jobs. They said it in Boston. They said it in Chicago. They said it in Milwaukee. They're coming to take your jobs. Sounds familiar to me. No, they were coming for a better life. They were coming for a better life. And so we need to be understanding our history. Now, we can get into, all the machinations around this idea. Are they legally here and how they got here? But let's not lose sight of why the majority, I'm talking the overwhelming majority, they're coming from a better life because they're dealing with grinding poverty, right, and instability. the same reason why black people left Mississippi and left Alabama to come up south, as Malcolm X said. We came for a better life. And the people up here, one of the interesting things, and I would suggest if you can go on YouTube.
Is that apples to apples?
Yeah, it is. Because what you're hearing right now is you're dividing people. You're saying these folks are coming in. I had people calling in talking about migrants taking jobs that black people. They are not. That is some BS.
I'm not during this time. I haven't even spoken about taking jobs.
No, but what I'm saying,
talking about the management of a large group of people.
That's short term.
No, it's not. It's long term.
It is short term. It's short term. That 6 months that they're sitting there until they can get an asylum here.
And you think that our government works that fast? No, it doesn't.
And you know why it doesn't, Bria?
Because it's not efficient.
They just killed the bill to increase the number of judges to hear the asylum.
At the end of the day, we have to deal with it.
I'm not going to get worked up because Republicans are using human beings as props.
I agree.
For their political agenda. They could care less about securing the border. That's an issue for them. Mm-hmm. They could care less. I had people in West Virginia talking about build the wall. Dude, you in West Virginia.
I agree.
And they ain't coming to West Virginia because there are no jobs in West Virginia to come to.
Oh, so they coming for jobs?
Yes.
Oh, Keith, come on now. Because you just said they're not coming to take those jobs, right?
I didn't say that. I said that when people left, my folks left Tennessee to come to Milwaukee to work.
The conversation was they're trying to take our job.
That's the propaganda.
Hold on. And then you said, well, what would they go to West Virginia for? There are no jobs there. So essentially,
no. Listen, hold. You done took it to what not? The people in West Virginia were saying build a wall.
I get it.
Okay, their economic life wasn't threatened by migrants. It's because we're not using fossil fuels and we're not doing coal. And so now you have an economic downturn in West Virginia and in parts of Kentucky and parts of Tennessee where they depend on Alabama.
Where no one wants to go there because there are no jobs. That's what you just said.
But there are jobs in Chicago.
Yeah, there are. So
but
that's
those
why
folks
who
are in Chicago
and
right
New York
now,
and LA,
those folks who are in Chicago now
Miami.
Didn't go there for jobs. Those folks were shipped there.
They were. Yeah. They didn't do like my grandmother and my dad, and they didn't relocate because they were looking for better opportunity. Our country effed up. They got in business that shouldn't have been. And I agree that the Conservative Party did not take full responsibility as they stated they were. And this is another reason why we can't trust them with our vote in a lot of ways, right? That we need to be mindful that when they had power, when they had the ability to do things, they didn't even demonstrate their own values, right? So this is
they demonstrated their values.
No,
they did. It's something that Kathy Hughes said. We need to be mindful of the weapons of mass distraction. Okay,
I agree.
So while we over here, not we, but I'm lost for words today. But why folks over here focusing on the migrants who were, and I'll use the word, dumped in Chicago
and New York,
and Martha's Vineyard,
some.
You know, the point was, do you really want to fix the immigration policy or the immigration problem based on behavior? It's not what you're saying, is what you're doing. Republicans, you do not. Because what you're able to do is gin up fear and hate. Fear and hate then motivates your voters to go to the polls and vote for you because you have no policy. And then even the policy that you offer, you turn around and reject because Donald Idiot sits up and says, and he says out loud.
So they didn't demonstrate their principles. They didn't demonstrate their values. No, because they said
power.
Okay, yeah,
power.
That's one.
That's their driving principle. How do I stay in power? And then how do I make sure the people that got me in power are going to be taken care of? Because see, when we're up here talking about resources in America, we're not talking about that $1.7 trillion tax cut that Donald Trump and the Republican Congress passed. Because we sit up here talking about people coming in, those immigrants, and I hate to say it, if you living in West Lawn in what is it? Lawndale. Is that Lawndale in Chicago? If you're living in that neighborhood, migrants ain't your issue. You got gangs, you have poverty, you have all these other things. These are things that we have to address. And we're not going to address them as long as we're distracted talking about that we have even when people talk about terrorists getting in the country. Those folks who came in the country for 9/11 came in the country legally.
I'm not knocking it.
So, I mean, I got it. But I think black folks, we need to be mindful. Yeah. Don't join the other team because you're going to find out that you will be released.
Well, and I'm going to do some research because I'm curious to know about how many non-natural born Americans votes Republican. Because I think we'll be surprised that a lot of them don't necessarily align with the Democratic Party.
They don't.
And so then we bring more.
But the migrants might. The migrants might. These folks are coming over now. But if you start talking about the people, look, the reason why
they begin to make money.
But the reason why immigrants are more likely to be supportive of Republicans is how they got in the country in the first place. They came here either because of business or because of education.
Either way, it goes against us. Let's take a caller. And that's what we need to be mindful of. Yeah. We don't need no more people going against us. No. Nuh-uh. We got enough of that. Yes.
You know where we can start?
Come over here.
You know where we can start? You know where we can start? We can get with each other.
Keith, let's take these callers.
All right, caller, welcome to the program.
Well, thank you. Good morning. Well, first of all, good morning, Keith. Good morning, Bria. Long time no talk with you.
Good morning.
Good morning, nephew. Good morning, Milwaukee. Tyrone W. speaking. You know what? It's a broad canvas of it all there because, well, first of all, just let me say a lot of them that are here are very established. I know very many of them that have for roofing, cutting down trees, snow plowing. They've got their own fleet of trucks, man. They're very well established. A lot of them, I got a couple live around the corner from me there. That's got the tree cutting business and all kind of stuff there. I got a couple live right around the corner from me there. So, I mean, there's a lot of them that are very well established. Very admirable points, going back to Meach, nephew got his fire going there, Bria. A lot of admirable points all over the place and respectable. I respect everybody's point of view and opinion and all. Like we touched on a couple of days ago, Keith, the treaty, I believe with all those states that we name, when they come to claim that, when the time comes, it may not be in my lifetime. I'm 65. It may not be in my lifetime or whatever. But when they decide to collect on that, stake a claim on that treaty and those policies about that land, it's going off. It comes down to a matter of when they do that, who you with. That's what it's going to come down to. Who you with, and make sure you're shooting at the right person. That's what it's going to come down to. Because when it comes to that, it ain't enough fruit on the trees there to be picked. When that day comes, when that time comes, because the pears, apples, plums, cherries, all that stuff don't grow year round. But I agree with Bria when the feds have dropped the ball down at the border there. First of all, because the facilities that they have, they're misusing the facilities that they have, and then the facilities ain't big enough to house the numbers that Bria's talking about, and that Meach has talked about. Those numbers are going to overtake us over time because they're coming in numbers and they're making babies at numbers. Eventually, those numbers are going to catch up with you in the voting poll, and when it comes time for them to take claim of what that treaty says about those states and stuff like California, Nevada, Colorado, Texas, Arizona, New Mexico, all that other stuff there. When that stuff get ready to kick in, just make sure you know who you're shooting at. I'm going with that. Have a good one. Thank you.
Thank you.
Caller, welcome to the program.
Hey, how y'all doing, Keith?
All right, what's up?
Good morning.
I'm gonna tell you, hey, Bria. I gotta run with Bria on this one, but I have to say this though too. Let's be clear. Let's not have a conversation that's centered around crime and criminality. I mean, we could do that all day long.
Uh-huh.
Let's not have a conversation, that's centered around someone taking jobs. Let's just be real about this.
Mm-hmm.
Particularly in Chicago, you have black folk who have been here for years, forced to be here, right? We were brought here. And so here's the problem, Keith, that you can't argue, because one of the things that I think happens a lot of times is that people have points, but you have to, at the same time, when a person has a point, you have to be able to understand someone else's point. And if you can argue against it, argue with facts. But I tell you this, you cannot tell me, no one can be angry at a person that says you're going to come into Chicago, for instance, right? And they're going to subsidize, right? You're going to subsidize families to come across the border, right? No one hates them. We're not that kind of people.
Well,
That's right. We're not that kind of people.
Can I make a hold on?
Hey,
No, just real quick.
Keith,
No, I'm gonna let you make your
for
point. I know, but let me make the point, because I don't want to get past this. These folks are being detained. They're being detained. That's what the $9,000 is for. That is detention. They don't have free movement. The people on the streets, they don't have free movement. It's detention. So I just want to make that point. So when people are making it sound like, oh, they're getting, why did it cost $9,000 to detain them? That might be the question.
Keith, you got a problem on your hands.
Housing, they're getting.
I'm gonna tell you, we got
apartment. They're getting them
Keith,
housing.
Right. Okay. Go on, man. I'm sorry. I just want to make that point.
My brother, I would suggest that you go look at the plan that I saw the other day that spoke about them getting jobs, being fast-tracked into America.
That's right.
This is all over the country, Keith. Yeah. You can't act like this is detention when they're talking about if they get a job in this amount of time, we'll reduce it to this amount. They got a plan in place that essentially says that I'm going to take you, and this is not Ellis Island. We can't act like we're in those times again. This is not Ellis Island. This is the time where you have a city, where you have cities that are being told, like, for instance, in Milwaukee, you can't tell me that you don't have enough money to essentially manage the budget, so you have to essentially up the taxes, right? Tell people pay more in taxes because we don't have the money, and then come back and say, but wait a minute, even in New York, we don't have the money, and you have to cut jobs, but then tell them we can subsidize families coming in across the border. You can't say that. That's double talk. And I can't look at someone. I can't look at someone and tell them that they're crazy for feeling that way. And I can't look at someone who says, listen, I work with the homeless. Why don't we give that same interest and have that same fire for the homeless veterans who are on the streets? Those are the arguments that are being made. Now, I personally don't feel like round them all up, get them all out. I just don't feel that way. That's not in my nature to feel that way. But you have to understand that no one can come with that amount of fire and venom when people say, listen, hey, what about us? What about my baby? What about my mom and them losing her? She lost her job and she's about to be evicted. What about this? What about those are things that are credible, and we can't act like they don't matter. Because now we're being disingenuous, not to say to not take into account that people are fed up with someone telling them we don't have enough money for you. We have no reparations. We have no anything. And so people are making justified claims as to why they don't like this plan. It's not about necessarily robbery and taking jobs. It's about being treated fairly. And you can't say for those black folk who are in the diaspora and those who have been around and those who come in and those who look at this whole situation, you can't say to them that, hey, just be cool, vote how you want to vote. You know what I mean? Follow us. Don't go over here to the left or the right. I mean, that's just all of it is just silliness. It's foolishness. The
immigration issue is a separate issue. Then
why not bring Haitians in? Why not bring Haitians in then? Why they round Haitians up and kick them out?
Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Do you know that the significant portion of that population is being relocated are Haitians, are Africans? Yes, they are. That's that whole idea. Down in Mexico, they have a city that has been overrun by Haitians en route to America. You have Europeans who are crossing that border. You have Nigerians who are crossing that border. So what has been happening is that Republicans have put the face of, unfortunately, Latino people and say they're the boogeyman. They're not.
I don't even see Latinos when I think about the situation.
Oh, do you see Haitians?
I don't.
Because Haitians make up a significant. They make up a significant portion of those people crossing the border.
I don't have a particular face because I know it's a conglomerate of different cultures.
Keith, we can bring that up, and
we know that.
But Keith, you have to be real about it, though, Keith. If you're going to spout numbers, your numbers are incorrect in regards to what percentage are Haitians coming over the border.
I didn't give you a percentage.
I know. Okay, so don't say it's a substantial amount.
It is.
It's not.
It is.
It's not a substantial amount.
It
Are you saying
is.
that it's
You-
20%?
it is. And Haitians
Okay.
are the ones who get sent back quicker than anybody else.
They do. They get sent back quicker, but they're not allowed in. The ones that are coming in, and here's my thing. It doesn't matter to me. I'm not going to be stuck on Haitians or anyone else. I'm stuck on the fact that you cannot say you're going to subsidize someone for 2 years, 3 years, and then say to the rest of those who have given their blood to this country, who come from a lineage of being wrong, that you don't matter. Just shut up. It doesn't matter. Be quiet without looking at their plight, looking at our plight from a standpoint of reparations and everything else.
So I'm going to give
Take care,
some stats real quick. Immigrants' top countries of origin: Mexico, India, China, Philippines, El Salvador, Vietnam, Cuba, Dominican Republic, Guatemala, and Korea. Those are the top.
Yeah, somebody just texted and said, don't forget the Russians and the Chinese.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You
So
said China.
that's why I said I don't have a face. I'm not looking at a particular population or a group. I'm talking about, and I appreciate you, caller, sharing that. I'm just talking about the plan and what is, and like, how will we support our electeds here locally if that's what they were faced with?
Based on the Center for Migration Studies, demographic profile of U.S. temporary protected status populations from El Salvador, Honduras, and Haiti. Haitians make up a significant number of people who are coming into this country.
What's your source?
I just gave it to you. Center for Migration Studies.
What's the date?
This is 2017.
That's old.
Well,
It's
but
dated.
It hasn't
It's dated. It's
It
dated.
hasn't changed.
Yeah, that's dated, and it does change. It changes
It hasn't changed.
It changes quickly because our politics shifts. It changes
What do you mean
quickly.
our politics shift?
We have our administration shifts in that.
One of the reasons why Donald Trump had such a great record was we shut the border down for COVID. We shut it down for COVID. And when we shut it down for COVID, people who would normally come in, bottlenecked in Mexico, remember, stay in Mexico policy, temporarily put that in place. Once COVID ended and all those emergency things that we did to close the border ended, folks were streaming across the border. They had been coming. That's that little town in Mexico that's filled with Haitians because they couldn't go until America, in effect, reopened the border.
Yep. We're not saying it doesn't exist. I'm just saying that that information is dated. Yeah.
You listen to Community Voice. We'll be right back.
Community Voice with Keith Parris and Bria Grant on 860 AM and 106.5 FM, Milwaukee.
Welcome back to Community Voice.
Keith, I'm so glad you're coming to see the light.
I haven't come to see any light.
I'm being funny.
I still got my shades on. What are you talking
Yeah,
about?
you do. Yeah, you do.
All right.
That's okay. You want to get
Caller,
this
welcome
light?
to the program.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Bria. Good morning, Keith. Good morning, Keon.
Hello.
Happy Black History Month to everyone.
Yes.
I would like to say that there are a lot of Black families in the city of Milwaukee that are living a pretty good life. You know, I've listened to WNOV. I've been listening since Black History Month has started. And I've been hearing us talking about all these other ethnic groups. But we're not talking about our ethnic group. We're not talking about the successes of us as a Black community in the city of Milwaukee and around the country. Where our emphasis is placed, I think, in the wrong place. Let's talk about, and let's invite people in to call and talk about the success of their life and how they're living. You know, we need to get up off our butts. The ones that don't have anything, the ones that are out here causing havoc in the streets of Milwaukee by stealing cars and amongst other things, and go to work. I worked all my life. I worked hard, and I have the benefits now that I'm retired. What you put in is what you get out. And please, let's talk about some good things that we have been doing. Let's talk about our successes as a Black community. Let's talk about the things we need to do to continue building ourselves up. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm still at who do we replace on Big Mama's wall, but I guess I need to move on. Who's Barack? Who is Barack replacing on the wall? Caller, welcome to the program. Good morning. Good morning.
Shalom, family.
Hey,
Good
hey.
Let me
morning.
turn my radio down. Very, 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 very interesting conversation. This got to be an Emmy Award-winning show this morning. But I'm curious. I got a couple of comments or thoughts. One, what would y'all say if they made a government policy that required all the immigrants to go through the enslavement training program?
Say that again. Because I guess my question is, what would it do for them if they don't actually experience what?
That's just a thought, because you recall what they said. You know, DeSantis said that we came through this basically apprenticeship program, right? But it was called enslavement. So what if they put them all through that first? That's one thought. But the second thought, that's just in joke.
Yes, I got
Okay.
you.
Right. Okay. So this is just this whole topic is so. Do you all think that this country could actually absorb another 100 million people?
No.
We have the land mass for it?
No, not 100 million. No. No, I mean,
absolutely.
Where they come
so
from,
let me ask you this. So if China has 1 billion people in their population, and the U.S. has 400 and some odd million, and the land mass between China and the U.S. is only like 2% different, you don't think this country can absorb 100 million more people?
I think it would be very difficult, only because the economic system is different in America than it is in China.
Well, that's just a matter of time.
Oh, and how they live, right? How are we okay with living in China? They literally live on top of each other and some other things,
the real question.
And they build vertically because they are struggling with being able to spread out horizontally.
Oh yeah, they have a large land mass, but a lot of it is not livable.
Right.
So,
well, it's because they haven't developed it yet. The same here. The same thing applies here. right?
What do you mean in
And
terms of
so,
their
so for
spaces
example,
that
here's
haven't
another
been developed?
example.
That haven't been developed?
Pardon?
Spaces that haven't been developed?
Right, absolutely. Same thing in Saudi Arabia. From what I understand, that MBS is in the process of building what I think they said. I forget the parameters of it or the perimeters of it, but he's in the desert. They're going to build an entire city enclosed so people can live there.
Who is that?
Making
Saudi Arabia.
MBS
Oh, okay.
over in Saudi Arabia, right? Mohammed bin Salman, right? So again, it's what do you do with the resources you have? When you got money like that, you can go and build it. Y'all go look it up. It sort of was fascinating to see that this is one of the plans. They're implementing it right now. Over in Saudi, that they're having this. It's a city enclosed, gonna be out in the desert.
Let me ask you a question, Craig. Who's going to build that city?
They've got Africans coming. They've got people.
Workers.
Yeah,
Workers.
absolutely.
Right.
But see, here's the same thing that would happen here. These people are coming here. They want to find work, right? And the people who are here say they want work. So, and this is the thing to me, when you think about it, what is a solution? The planet isn't growing any more land, but there are more people coming onto the planet every day. More than are leaving, I have to think, because technology is going to keep us alive longer, right?
Well, we're at zero population growth in America right now.
Right. So that's why some of these are coming too.
Right. And
Right?
that's the issue they're dealing with in Europe now, that they have a declining population, an aging population, and they need people to come in and do the work.
Right. And that's one of the reasons why they don't shut the borders down.
Right. I mean,
Right?
because you benefited economically for those folks going out picking grapes and picking lettuce
and that
and
was
working
the
in
premise
meatpacking
of
places.
the beginning of my question is, can this country absorb 100 million more people? And the answer has to be absolutely, but you got to plan it. You got to pull out the resources and stop wasting money like this country does in so many different ways, right? You're giving money to Israel that they don't even need. They should be able to make, and they've been maintaining themselves. But then we take money from the people who live here, who've been contributing to this country, to do that kind of thing, right? And so there's a lot of things that could be done if you thinking. This is why they say our elected, particularly the president, really has to have a fresh frame of mind and a viewpoint on what the next 100 years are going to look like here. What the next 50 years is going to look, if we even survive that. That's, to me, that's the reality. Are we going to survive that? But, the next 2 or 3 generations. And so you need, this new breed, these younger, government officials who are going to be looking forward to what is this country going to be in 20 years? What is it going to be in 40 years? What are our grandchildren going to be doing, 50 years from now? That's incumbent upon how we plan now too. That's why these people are coming, because they're saying, "Hey, I might be the one carrying them over there, but 20 years from now, like Meek said, they will be a larger percentage of the population. That will be this next 100 million people. So what are we doing? We growing too, but so I don't know. To me, there's a lot of tentacles to this whole situation. And unless you really know all of the dynamics of it, but it's a great conversation though. I'm really enjoying it. There's a lot of humor in it. Keith, you having a good time in there. I can see. And Bria, you hold. But I got a question for you, Bria, though. When you first came into the studio today, did you hear the question that Meech put out?
No.
About the role of the woman. I'm curious because I'd love to hear what your feedback.
What was the question? The role of the woman?
What? So how did he put that? Now it was something between him at the end of Michelle's show, but Meech made a comment about women and their role, basically. So you didn't hear that. You really did not hear that.
No, I wasn't in the station, but I'm a submissive woman, so I'm from the South. I I probably would surprise you in my interpretation of what a woman's role is. Keith, don't look at me like that. It's the truth.
No, because I think a lot of well, I don't know. I thought it was fascinating the way that show ended. And Keith, you caught the last part of her show, didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
Because you made a couple comments. You Bria, ask Keith, because he said something mumbling, and they jumped right on him. I heard him. He was like sort of.
What did he say? What did he say the woman's role is?
What did you say, Keith?
Oh! You want to hear what I said?
In the kitchen.
Yeah, say it.
Yeah,
say it the same way.
Barefoot and pregnant in the kitchen.
No, I just believe that women are so powerful, and they should have to be in a subjugated role in any relationship. The brother was calling me earlier. They were talking about this process where you come into the country. And through the end of August 2023, over 2011, is it 2011?
I don't know.
There you go. 211,000 Cubans, Haitians, Nicaraguans, and Venezuelans have arrived lawfully under the parole process. All right. The numbers include more than 45,000 Cubans, more than 71,000 Haitians, 32,000 Nicaraguans, 61,000 Venezuelans. That number one group is Haitians.
Okay. In 2011?
This was 2023.
Okay, great.
And that's what I'm saying when we look at
some
right. But he was saying, no, the Haitians make up a significant number of people who are immigrating both legally and illegally into this country.
Okay. I'm going to tell you, what's the difference? If you could walk here from there and go live in Mississippi, or in some parts of this country where they talk about that, that the standard of living is so bad from the American perspective, but compared to where they coming from, they feel like that,
$9,000 is a lot of money.
Real talk. And I don't know, even for our folks who migrated from the South.
Absolutely.
It was, I guess it's relative, but in some ways it was so much better than the living conditions they were experiencing now. Now in the South is very different.
Yeah.
But the thing that drove, I know my folks up here, my grandfather never went back to Tennessee. Never. Right? So same thing. That's what's driving it.
Could he go back to Tennessee? Because my dad couldn't go back to Mississippi.
He inherited,
was told he cannot come back.
And there's a whole lot of folks who've been told, get out. But my point is, that was tough living. And there are people who kind of we're nostalgic. Look, I loved 3371 North 5th Street. Had great times at 3371 North.
But you ain't going back there.
I ain't going back to 3371.
And
no disrespect, because Bader. But what I'm saying is how we were living at 3371.
There you go.
I'm not living like that now. Thank you, Mama.
It's the whole package, right?
Yep. And when I said this in church Sunday, my tribute for Black History Month was I acknowledged my grandmother. I acknowledged my grandmother because the same bus that I caught to school, my grandmother caught to clean white people's houses.
Yep.
Okay. My grandmother made sacrifices. My mother made sacrifices.
So you live well and not reach back and help nobody.
So I can live well and not take care of
the Rio Grande. That's right.
But and so I think let's celebrate it, but let's not get pulled into this intramural skirmish that they have going on, where we know that for the last 6 years or more, 8 years, immigration has been an issue, and Congress has had every opportunity to fix the problem, and they've came closer with this bill than they had since Reagan.
So thank you so much, Craig.
They ain't trying to fix no problem.
No, they're not.
Going on. But this is why I bring
you,
this topic up, right? Because we got to follow the bouncing ball. We have a presidential primary election that's going to be happening in April 2nd. This is not a sexy election season for us. There's nothing on the ballot that really is super duper.
You know the only thing's on my ballot?
What?
The mayor.
It's not sexy. Charlotte. Oh, she doesn't have she
has an opponent.
Yeah, but
there's not three.
That's not a primary. So it's not a reason other than exercising your civic duty to show up. You know, people like to have fun things to vote. They want to vote on marijuana, cannabis, all those things, right?
Obama.
Oh, well, you know, Obama in himself brought people to the poll, right? But even with our presidential primary, it's not like, oh, I'm so excited to go. But we should be. And the reason being is because we don't want to serve under the direction of an administration that will drop the ball on the people that cannot afford mentally, emotionally, afford to have to manage the problems. When we have an opportunity to address things in Congress, like you said, and folks decide, you know what? Yeah, I know we said this is something we want to address, but yeah, we're not going to go along with it. We need to know that those people are playing with us. They do not have our best interests at heart, and we cannot say, oh, well, our current president, we don't like him, so we just not going to go to the polls. No, because that's a win from the other side of people that are irresponsible and aren't going to hear us when we say we need a plan for supporting people that are coming to the country for a better life. We need a plan to support them. We don't even have access to the Conservative Party. We can't even talk to them about what we want to see happen because they don't make themselves available or accessible to hear the issues. And when they have an opportunity to fix it, they have demonstrated that it really is not an issue that they truly care about, and that they will leave it on the doorsteps of people that are the least likely positioned to be able to deal with it. So that's what I want us to be mindful of. When this right here, baby, be like, oh no, I can't deal with them. I can't deal with anybody that will have an opportunity to address it, but instead pass it on to me, because that's what happened. Okay, Keith, I'm done.
You sure? Caller, welcome to the program.
Thank you for taking my call, Keith. Hello, Bria.
Good morning.
You know what I like to do, because I think I heard it earlier, either it was last week, when someone challenged us for this whole month, let's shop with a Black business. Let's find the restaurant, let's find the stores, and let's just bombard them this month and make a difference so that other folks can feel the difference of what we've done. And the Black businesses can do better than what they're doing, so that when they need to contribute in a way, they can. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Can we all make that? Can we all agree to let's challenge? Let's make that a challenge and go out and support the organizations that are in our neighborhood that are benefiting us. And I hope a lot of young parents take their kids around to the different Black programs that's going on, to the Black Historical Society, to all the things that's going on this week with Representative that was on the show on Michelle's show. It's a lot of good stuff going on, and build us up, because we are someone to reckon with, and we need to take pride and stop killing each other, because you're gonna need that brother that you are selling them drugs to. You're gonna need him to be in his right mind, because the day is coming. They're gonna make us do a lot of different thinking than we're doing. You know, and just like our grandkids, I don't like this, I don't want this. Baby, you gonna eat something that you don't like and that you don't want, and you're gonna appreciate it. Let's hope they don't have to resort to that. You guys have a good day, and it was a great show. And Keith, I happened to be at that forum, and I thought you did a good job. I thought maybe your back was hurting or something. Anyway,
I didn't like popping up and down, but other than that, yeah, my back was sore.
Was it hurt? That wasn't hurting, Keith. I'm glad you had that grace given to you. Because Meech just threw you out there, didn't he? He didn't care about your back.
That's interesting. That's what I preach about Sunday, grace. You're listening to Community Voice. We're up on the last break of the program. We'll be right back. end of another program.
Oh,
It
my
must be Wednesday. Let me thank Miss Bria Grant. Let me thank all the callers. Keon, you tried, man. You tried, bro. You tried.
I just jumped on in. I ain't tried nothing at all.
You fit in. You tried, but no, excellent. Thank you. Hey, the good Lord will the creek don't rise. Hope to talk to everybody tomorrow. And as always, go from this place, peace. And you can early vote.
Yes, you can early vote.
See y'all tomorrow.
Take advantage.
Father,